And the other big story we're tracking here on India today, 3 countries have suspended the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine amid serious side effect concerns. Now, these countries are Germany, Italy and France. All paused the rollout on Monday. They were later joined by Spain, Portugal, Slovenia and Latvia. There have been a number of cases in Europe of blood clots developing after the vaccine was administered. The World Health Organization, of course, has urged countries not to pause COVID vaccination and urged people not to panic. The World Health Organization said there is no evidence of any link whatsoever between the vaccine and blood clots. The Indian version of Oxford AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine is known as Covishield. Following the suspension of the vaccine by several countries, the central government has decided to conduct a deep review of post-vaccination side effects from the Oxford AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine. As the world's largest COVID-19 vaccination drive is underway in India, the country has administered 3 crore cumulative vaccination doses.
Several more countries have suspended the use of AstraZeneca vaccines as a precautionary measure after reports of blood clots in people who had received the vaccine from 2 batches produced in Europe. This does not necessarily mean these events are linked to vaccination, but it's routine practice to investigate them. And it shows that the surveillance system works and that effective controls are in place.
And this brings us to a big question of the day. Increase in blood clot. Is it related to the vaccine? Is there any evidence to suggest this? Is the vaccine safe? Should we get the jab? Should India continue with this process with Covishield, or should there be a pause? Joining me on 5 Live, Dr. Harsh Mahajan, founder Mahajan Imaging, and Dr. Swapnil Parekh, author The Coronavirus. And if I come to you first, Dr. Mahajan, what's your appreciation? There have been about 4 cases in Denmark and around in Scandinavia. Is that enough? Is there any evidence whatsoever to suggest any relationship between clotting and COVID-19 vaccination?
Thank you and good evening, Gaurav. At the outset, I would say that it's always prudent to look at safety first. And that's why the phase 1, 2 and 3 trials were conducted, where this vaccine was found to be absolutely safe and also efficacious. Now, in India alone, over 20 million jabs of Covishield, which is the same vaccine, have been given, and over 17 million in the UK and Europe. So that's 37 million jabs. And in that, if you find a handful of cases who've developed clots, and these were mostly in the Scandinavian countries that they've been reported, I think, they've really shot from the hip by pausing the vaccine. In our country, we've not seen much of this. Even in Europe and also UK, they have not seen much of this. We have to remember, Gaurav, that in such a large population, there, as a normal course, there will be people who will have strokes, there will be people who will have heart attacks, and there will be people who will develop clots and cause thromboembolism. That's a part of normal. What actually needs to be seen, that is this more than what is generally seen? And the initial data appears to suggest that that is not the case. And that's why I feel that, especially in India, where I've had 2 jabs of the same, and so have so many others, I don't think there's any need to panic, any need to rethink. Of course, as the government, you just now said, has decided that they will do a deep dive into the data and look at it. That is the most prudent way of looking at it. But I don't think there's any cause for stopping the jab. But countries like
Germany, Italy and France, Dr. Parekh, countries like Germany, Italy and France, have they jumped the gun? Are they panicking? Or is there merit in the thinking that even if 2, 3 or 4 lives have been lost in different countries, stop the process, check first and then move on?
Gaurav, thank you so much for having me on. Let's contextualize. There have been 2.6 million, at least 2.6 million confirmed deaths due to COVID-19 worldwide. There have been zero confirmed deaths due to a COVID-19 vaccine anywhere in the world. It is our responsibility, our duty, and it is prudent to investigate every serious adverse event following immunization. I would say even those adverse events that aren't severe, we should be monitoring them much better than we are. However, to pause the vaccinations right now, it sends an incredibly bad message. I'll tell you what's most likely going to happen. We don't know whether the cases in Germany were related. In Germany, it was slightly more than just a blood clot. It was a specific kind of blood clot. It was what we call a cerebral sinus thrombosis. And there was also low platelets with this and bleeding tendencies. So It was a rare constellation of symptoms that occurred in a cluster. This is a very good indication that we need an investigation. However, we have to make decisions based on data and after the investigation has actually given us some results. The vaccine may not recover from this in Europe. There was already hesitancy in Europe related to the AstraZeneca vaccine because the Europeans did many odd things. They sent out very odd messaging early on about the AstraZeneca vaccine. And my concern is after the investigation, the worst case scenario is that we say 7 out of 1.6 million, that's 1 in 2.3 lakhs. That's the risk of this event. And meanwhile, the kind of people we're targeting for vaccination.
The tragedy is, yes,
the kind of people
the vaccination process, Dr. Mahajan, that will come to a halt or a standstill. COVID cases could surge, and it could also lead to vaccine hesitancy, perhaps due to lack of information.
Absolutely correct, Gaurav. This kind of information already, as has been said, there is vaccine hesitancy. People, think twice before getting it. And now people are thinking, should I get the second jab or not? That's, I think, not right at all. It will already, we see that cases have started increasing and rather surging in few of the states of India, including Maharashtra, Punjab. This is the time actually to accelerate the vaccination process, to have more and more people get vaccinated, because we know that the only sure method of stopping the scourge is vaccination. And so, I think we need to lower the age of people who are willing to get the jab. And also in the areas where the, numbers are rising, say in Bombay or in other parts of the country, those areas possibly should be given permission to go and vaccinate as many people as they can. Because remember, at the present point of time, we don't have any shortage of the vaccine. It's there in abundance in our country, and 100 million doses are being produced a month. So we need to accelerate the process.
And people are waiting. Absolutely. So, Dr. Parekh, in places like Mumbai, in other pockets of Maharashtra, where we see a surge or a second wave, as the Health Secretary said, is it time to lower the age and vaccinate more people and not be fearful of reports that may emanate out of half-truths from Europe?
Just before that, one thing I wanted to touch upon, not every adverse event is because of a vaccine. In the Moderna mRNA vaccine trial in the US, an individual was hit by lightning after vaccination, and that gets recorded as an adverse event. An individual who gets hit by a car after vaccination, that gets recorded as an adverse event. Not every adverse event is related to the vaccine. So just wanted to clarify that. About lowering the age, I think I'm in disagreement there. I think we need to rapidly scale out vaccinations for the elderly and those who are high risk. We need to simplify the process for them. And we need to continue to prioritize them. While we do say, even if we have 100 million doses capacity per month, not all of that is staying in India. And the second you start to scale vaccinations to 5, 6, 10 million doses administered per day, it's not going to be enough and we're going to run out. So we absolutely need to prioritize the elderly and the high risk right now.
Let's not be scared. Let's not be scared. Let's get vaccinated. I've run out of time on this part of the show. Dr. Mahajan and Dr. Parekh, as always, very thanks for joining me.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.